clock is ticking for law enforcement to find Nancy Guthrie before the suspected kidnapper's ransom deadline hits in less than 24 hours. They're demanding $6 million by 5 p.m. local time tomorrow. Investigators spent 2.5 hours searching the home of Nancy's daughter, Annie Guthrie, just last night. Well, joining us now, I'm pleased to say, is former FBI Special Agent Jonathan Gilliam. Jonathan, thank you so much for joining the program. Again, it's great to have you back. Jonathan, what do you make of investigators going to Annie Guthrie's home? What does that tell you about kind of the turn maybe the search is making? What could they be looking for there?
Well, they could be looking, I mean, it could just be as simple as they're covering all bases. And so they're going back to the last person that saw her, to the last place that she was at, to see if they could find anything that had been put anywhere, whether it be phones or a body. So that is the first possibility. The other possibility is that they somehow along the way have gotten more evidence that's leading them in a direction. I just saw just a few minutes ago that now there's billboards popping up in and around Texas. And I find that very interesting as well, because that's a very specific location where these billboards are popping up by the FBI. So these different aspects of where the investigation is starting to move could be telling me, I keep saying could because we don't know quite the amount of information that law enforcement does. And good law enforcement agents and detectives are going to cover all bases. But I do find it interesting that they've gone back to the home several times, that they're looking in that septic tank as well. And then they've gone back to the home where they were apparently taking evidentiary pictures. So that shows me that they are following leads. I just don't know how specific those leads are, or if they're just covering their bases at this point.
Jonathan, we were lucky enough to have you yesterday. We have a little more information since we talked to you last night. Of course, we were discussing that video, and we had a lot of theories on it. But now today, we mentioned the search of the sister's home, photos taken at night. We also have, again, as you mentioned, the search of that drainage, sewer, septic, whatever it may be. Do you think that something happened in the overnight hours that directed investigators to check those two locations in particular? Do you think anything changed? Do you think they would have had to get more information? Why wait until day 7 to go and do those two things, do you think?
See, that's a good question, and I think you're onto something there, because the fact that they did it on day 7, but they were into all hours of the night doing it, which tells me that these were things that they wanted to get done, that they felt a pressure to look into these areas or collect this information. And so that leads me to believe that there's a good potential they have leads, and they're moving towards something other than just this ransom. These ransom letters and the possibility that she was abducted in somewhere else. They're either looking for specifics that may lead them to her close by, or information that may lead directly to her, opposite or separate, not opposite, but separate from those ransom letters.
Jonathan, have you heard, or do you have any instinct on if they're trying to communicate with these kidnappers other than through these Instagram videos that the family puts out? For example, you know, I guess we see this ransom get paid tomorrow. How do they, you know, they pay $6 million and then they wait to hear, hey, how do we get her back? What do we do? Is there any protocol, or is there any tactic that would make sense? I understand, you know, obviously it'd be nice to find them before they pay the ransom, but something post-ransom that you're looking for or trying to engage.
I mean, that is the scary part of this whole thing, is that, I mean, it's more scary to not get Nancy back, but it's also very scary to put $6 million in somebody's hands that you have no idea who they are. You don't know if this is real. I think I mentioned last night that with AI, I get people sending me videos all the time saying, hey, did you see this coyote in a landslide? I'm like, that is not real. It looks real, but that's not real. And people, you know, are easily snowed by this AI now, and they can show pictures of people looking deceased, looking like they're injured, and when in fact they've never even been in contact with that person. So this is the conflict that we're coming down on this time, that makes me really sit back and look at how law enforcement is handling this, first of all, because you don't want to rush into it. The family, you don't want to rush in and send that money, because what if they come back and then they say, we want more? So there's all these different aspects of this. But I do believe if these were true kidnappers who were trying to get money, they would have established some type of a back and forth so they could validate that they actually do, in fact, have her or know of her whereabouts. At this point in time, unless they are talking to somebody or seeing a video, and even then it can be questioned. It has to be a question and answer where you're going back and forth with that individual to know that it's them and they're alive. Just saying we want a video with AI, you just don't know if you're getting it.
Right. And we heard Savannah herself speak to that, in the first video, asking for proof of life. And we understand, as far as the public reporting goes, that has not come through yet. But Jonathan, we'll have to leave that there for now. I'm sure we'll speak to you again very soon. Jonathan Gilliam, thank you very much.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.